What's up, guys? It's Charles here with Rocket Punch Army. Yeah, so we're taking a look here at the Matchbox Voltron. Alright? Because this is really what started it all for me. You know, I had a Diecast 3 and everything like that. You know, just toys I would pick up while living in New York. But it wasn't until Voltron appeared on the air that I really got hooked into this whole robotic thing. I mean, I can almost remember seeing it for the first time, seeing the opening screen and seeing those little colored, you know, trails, and then you know, Peter Cullen talking and, you know, saying from days of long ago this and all that, and that really just from that point on was it. But this is the robot I pretty much have been obsessed with almost my entire life, and I'm showing you this because this is how it started. This is the original toy. Well, not the original, but this is the original Voltron that we got here, and a lot of us do know that you know, this came from a line of toys from Japan, and his name was Golion. So they obviously neutered this for you know, U.S. consumption. They got rid of all the little missiles, weapons, and all that stuff, but you pretty much got the entire toy as it was. Loads of die-cast, beautiful details. But yeah, we're not here for this, but I figured I'd show you where it started from in case you guys are not familiar with it, which I'm sure if you weren't familiar with it, you live under a rock. But anyway, that wasn't the only time Voltron showed up in diecast. Toynami took a shot at it with the Toynami Masterpiece Voltron. Okay, so at this point, Toynami had gotten the rights from WEP, did their version of Voltron, which they kept the whole red forehead just like the original toy, but they kind of tried to stylize it a bit, you know, with the little teeny wings and things like that. And at this point, you know, it was considered a masterpiece as far as I was concerned at the time. And it had its obvious flaws, just very floppy. You can see the legs clanked together from the heft. And they did a wonderful plastic version of this toy. All right, which I don't have here at the moment, but it's pretty much identical, just made out of plastic. It's able to cope with the weight a lot better. This was a very, very heavy piece, or is a very heavy piece. So this is pretty much faithful to the original in as far as where the die-cast parts were situated. Now, forwarding a few years later, about a couple years ago, I guess, I forgot what year this came out, maybe about 2 years ago, the King of Beasts, which was made by a company that did not have a license to make Voltron. So they just called it the King of Beasts, and the company's name is Mad Toys. I was supposed to get a sample for review a long time ago, and there was a lot of issues with licensing, and the company was pretty much being very careful with the way they handled this toy. So much so, in fact, that Josh from Collection DX was the only one with a review for a while, and the only one with King of Beasts. We didn't think we were even going to get it. Then out of nowhere, they kind of slipped a few out of the cracks here and there, and of course, you know, China the way it is, people got what they wanted. You know, it had its obvious little weirdness things, like, you know, the little chest piece didn't extend to there, a lot of freedom in the detailing. So it was a nice try and a very cool toy, but definitely not what I wanted. And one of the things that really annoyed me, and you know, a lot of people disagree, is the face. Now, from a side view, got a nice side view, I guess, but from the front, it just looks like he's ready to take some selfies. It's kind of a little squished there. But yeah, so anyway, they're making their own official version, but I think it's a little too late because we now have this. This is the official Soul of Chogokin GX-71 Voltron. And the reason I love this is because the original toy was made by Popey, which is pretty much Bandai now. And this was made by Bandai, or is made by Bandai. I keep using past tense. So I can't even begin to tell you how many of us were really waiting for you know, Bandai to step up and do this. And it had a lot of things to do with licensing. I'm sure if you guys followed a Collection DX or like my posts in certain forums, we knew about this a long time ago. We just weren't sure when it was going to happen. There was a lot of talk. There was even confirmation at one of the events I went to that it was all said and done and almost in writing. And then, of course, Toynami comes out with their you know, anniversary one, which means Bandai didn't get the license. But here he is finally. It almost is like a, you know, surreal to just see this here. And you'll notice this has Voltron packaging, even though it's Japanese you know, line of toys, the Soul of Chogokin line. You'll see here, Tamashii Nations, all that stuff. And I gotta say, that is a beautiful photograph of the toy. That's the actual toy in the front. You got some nice gold foil action going on right here. But check this out. Oh, actually, first, before I show you that, we'll spin it around to the sides. You get some photography of the lions there. And if we turn it around, we get some cool poses, and obviously the lions, and you'll see them all sitting there, which is another cool feature of the set. But everything is in English. It's so weird to see, you know, Solo Chogokin toy with English. But anyway, back to where I was going to show you. Here's another picture of him. The slipcover is only for US releases. So we take the slipcover off, we'll see what it looks like outside of the US, over in Japan, where he was known as Golion. Scroll down right here, as you can see, right there. Golion. Alright, so now this looks more like a typical Solo Chogokin box with the robot on the side there. A lot of Japanese going on, but pretty much exactly what the other box says. One of the things I'm really excited for is the inclusion of these number stickers. I don't think I'm going to be adding them on. I really just want him to look like what he looked like in the what do you call it, anime. But if you wanted to make him look more like the toy, you can go ahead and put those stickers. So that's a definite thumbs up from me. And also, even though I'm not a fan of stands, it does come with a stand there, but I think the stand's not too bad. And I might just be a little biased because, you know, it belongs to him. But it is a pretty cool looking stand, the way everything stacks up. It's not overly complicated, it's just simple and compact. And you get the choice right here, the plaques, to put either the Golion Japanese logo or the Voltron logo, which is really cool. If you do buy the Japanese version, it will come with both plaques, just not the, you know, outer sleeve. But anyway, we want to get in here and open it up. I do want to point out, and I feel I should, because this is the pinnacle of my collecting, that I received a damaged box. And I'm kind of upset. And then if we move up here, you know, this little flap is like that. You know, the post office took liberties in the delivery of my box, which looks like they kicked the crap out of it. Because I'm sure, you know, BBTS would never ship out my box in that condition. But that's you know, neither here nor there. But here is the box. What you want to do is be very careful if you're opening it up with the box this way, which is how you would normally think you would open it. But the styrofoam with the lines is upside down and it's not taped. So if you open it and you're standing, you're going to drop those lines on the floor. All right, so you want to hold it upside down with the back of the box facing up, and just pull out the trays. Just going to set them off to the side. We will check them out in just a moment. And then the bigger stand here. And now finally the styrofoam. All right, so you'll see the lions come out on top here. Now the first thing I noticed, even though I already knew, is the fact that they didn't do that whole like cutout window box. I was really expecting them to do like some, like really go back, you know, and do the vintage style box with a little handle. I think that was a really big missed opportunity. Why they didn't do that, I don't know. You know, with the whole window, and you know, I don't know if you guys ever had a chance to see a Lionbot box or a Golion box. The presentation is absolutely gorgeous, and I think they could have done that here. They did it for Daltanius. Could have done it with this guy. But yeah, as it is, it's just a, you know, what do you call it, plastic shell here, which is very weird. They usually, right here in this little indentation in the styrofoam, would be a cardboard piece of cardboard, with tape all the way around. But they didn't do that, so I don't know what's going on there. But as you can see, the lines are neatly laid out, beautifully. Yeah, so grab this guy here, take a look at him real quick. I'm just going to show you one of each before I go into detail. This is one of the arm lions. Alright, you can see the red lion actually has a full tail there. Alright, and then this part's very reminiscent of the vintage toy. Then we'll look at a leg lion right here. Alright, so leg lion is pretty cool looking. Right, it's already got smudges there. I have played with it, so it definitely has my fingerprints. But that's a leg lion there. And of course you guys want to see the black lion, which is the piece de resistance. I can't say that without making that awful French accent. But here he is. Comes packed this way. A little strange, but that's what they need to do to fit him in there. But yeah, let's take a closer look at these guys. And here they are, all together, just crouching here in front of the camera. That's right, crouching. They're actually able to sit, and it's just such an amazing thing. It does, however, I wouldn't say mess up, but it does cause something weird in robot mode, which is probably the only thing I could really point out that I probably would have changed. But anyway, they did it for a good reason. So first of all, let's start off with Black Lion, since he's just staring at us and he's all happy. So you'll see Black Lion has this whole area that just articulates down, you know, so he's able to crouch very nicely. I mean, I know you can sort of fake the crouches with the original one, it just wasn't the same. But here he is crouched. You'll notice the legs have to go inside this little recess there, which in you know, robot form, it kind of stands out if you look at him from the back. But it's kind of cool that they worked it in there to be able to allow you to, you know, sit the lion in the lion mode. And the proportions, I gotta say, guys, this is great. I mean, you know, it's sort of like a mix between the original and also what you see on the screen, which is a little more slender at times, sometimes a little more reminiscent of the way Toonami did theirs. But I think this is the absolute best version there is of him. I mean, look at this. He's got articulation both ways, this way and that. You know, you get the, let's open up the drawer here, if I can get it. Alright. Oh, didn't want to show you the face yet, but it's there. Alright, so how do we get that back up there? Alright, took a little bit of playing around there, but I got it in there. You'll see he's got a missile on the bottom of his mouth. I think it's just there for decoration. It doesn't actually pull up, unfortunately. But you can see it's got a nice draw movement, except sometimes it will pull the head down, pretty much just like the original. And for those of you that are wondering, yes, the sharp teeth are there, so be careful. This might snag on a woolly sweater or something and knock off the teeth. I don't know. Just don't wear woolly sweaters for any reason. And we have you know, the gold ears here, which is awesome. You notice the articulation does have some little bit of side-to-side articulation here, which I love. But really, what really stands out is the fact that it has a neck. These lions finally have necks, guys. Been waiting for that. Get the articulation in the head there, like so. On the Black Lion, everything's pretty much ratcheted. And I have to say, these ratchets are glorious. I mean, I've ratcheted a lot of toys. This just feels just right. You get them on the little elbows here. Not really necessary. You know, I guess he is heavy, but usually these kind of ratchets are for the legs to hold on to the heavier parts of the robot, but glad they worked it in. And check this out. Ratchets in the paws. And the paws themselves are on ball joints to give you a little bit of articulation there. You also get a tail. Tail's ball jointed right there. So it moves up this way, so it kind of gets that wavy feeling. You know what I mean? And it's a PVC tail, so it's soft. Alright? And, you know, a lot of the originals were broken off. And, of course, the articulation in the legs. You'll see this part swings down to allow you to bring the legs forward for a crouching position. Alright? Normally it's snapped in like that. Oops, I hope I didn't scratch anything up front. Nope. Alright, so you'll see what I did there. I kind of pushed that in. This actually slides out, or pops out like that. Alright, to give you... you know, more articulation or height in robot mode. So that's pretty much it with this guy. All right, a lot of ratchets. The ones on the legs are really strong. All right, we'll set that guy aside for a moment, and we're going to move on to one of the leg lines, which will be the yellow lion, which is my favorite because it was my very first lion ever that my grandma got me when we couldn't afford the whole thing. But here he is, looking all badass, if I can say that. Very awesome. Right off the bat, the first thing I noticed is I couldn't open the ears, which was a little downside for me. That was like my favorite thing with the yellow lion. And you can't raise this little center section here, which I guess was like because it's a toy thing. He's got nice fins here. The fins are done really nice and tall and exaggerated. And of course you got the tail, which also swings around. Even though the tail really doesn't articulate in any of these segments, it does give a feeling of a really soft tail when you move it around like this. And you'll notice the articulation of the legs here. You can do this, and that's a really cool thing for me. And the legs come out this way. I'll show you that right there. So that's really like a lot of articulation. Look at that. And then of course the ratchets. I do want to point out, and I didn't point it out on the black line, that the legs are metal. All right, so they're not just chrome plastic. The legs are metal. The only thing that's not metal about the legs are the paws. So be careful with the chrome on that. But this is highly polished metal. I mean, it's beautiful. It's just got a lot of fingerprints on there. You can surely wipe those off when you go to display it. And let's open up the mouth here. He's also got a little missile gimmick going on inside of his mouth. All right, and also the neck. Look at the neck, guys. It's got a neck. You can move it up and down. You can move the head up and down. When you're going to seat him, you want to pull the head down all the way, kind of clear this little yellow thing here if I can. Oops. Anyway, popped it off. Not a big deal. Really just pops right in. But because of the head coming off, I do want to show you this. The head is made to come off, just not off of this peg. And you know, to do the attack where the heads come off. And what's awesome is there's an included peg kind of thing that you can put on the neck here in case you want to use those Tamashi stands and have these legs like coming out of the bottom of the feet and things like that. I don't have any of those stands, but you can do that. All right, so really cool the way they did that. Really in love with this robot so far. And you'll notice the little ratcheting action here in the back for the crouching action. And you can also rock this side to side. That's more for the ankle joint, but it does give you know, a little more you know, natural look to this lion. And each lion besides the black one does have a built-in gimmick. I mean, the black one has that little missile in its mouth, but so do the rest. But they also have other gimmicks like this. This little missile thing can move, and that's about it. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and move on with and look at the blue lion. Take a look at the blue lion. Very similar to the yellow. They didn't reuse any main body parts. Same thing, metal on the legs. While we're on the subject of metal, guys, the metal is really on the legs. The rest of the what do you call it? The lion is plastic, which is the opposite of what they did with the original. But I gotta say, they really pulled it off, and I'll get into that more in robot mode. But the blue lion, same thing. It's got the little gimmick in the mouth. Not gonna go into great detail since pretty much they're all the same. Got the sharp teeth, got the little missile, got the neck articulation. Same thing with the tail. The one gimmick it does have, I know the original has where you can pop up the ears. It doesn't exist on this toy. This little pop-up center here doesn't exist either, but it does have this little hidden weapon feature here, which I think is really cool. Nothing to attach, it just built right in. All right. Now we'll take a look at the red lion. So this is obviously an arm lion. You see him crouched right there. Right, has this little articulation. Now you don't have to pull this out to crouch him. Just looks a little weird that way, but there he is like that. What I like about the arm lions, first of all, is they're really well designed, and the fact that they have a neck. That's like top for me right there. You know, they have the tails that are ball jointed, and also this piece, which is pure metal. As far as metal, you only get like this midsection here. The upper and lower is plastic, but then for some reason the middle is metal. I just thought that was a weird way to do that instead of just doing the whole thing. I guess, you know, to keep some weight off, and you got some metal in there in that joint, which I was showing you before, and a tail. So it's a little weird if you guys are expecting this to be full of metal, and it's not, but I think it's just great. It's just perfectly executed. Again, I'll get into that when it's in robot mode, but it does allow a lot of the sharp detail to come through on the body. All right, and the mouth opens, and you also get sharp teeth on the lions here, on the arm lions, and then you got the little missile feature, which does articulate. So when he opens his mouth, it does stay pointed straight out. And he does have a hidden feature here. How is it? I think I gotta figure out how it goes. Oh, actually, you gotta grab it by the blue part. There it is. Another hidden weapon. So that's really cool. And last but not least, we're gonna check out Pidge's you know, lion, which is a green lion. Again, the neck, same thing. It's just pretty much a rounded version of the red lion. All right, you get the little weapon thing there, and then the hidden feature here on the green lion. Now, something I do want to point out with the red and blue lion is a design feature that they decided to do on the lions, which is the rounded areas right here. That was never really any part of a toy or anything. I really don't know how to explain that. Are they trying to look like the cartoon when it's transformed? I don't know, but why would they only do it on the even numbered lions, and then the odd ones are the standard slit type design. I wish I knew. Maybe there's a reason for that, but for now, let's just assume they were just trying to be cool. Now we're going to take a look at the weapons for this guy. Alright, we're going to start off with the blade here. The Black Lion mouth blade, which is probably the best sculpted one and best painted, obviously, since this is the highest level Voltron you can possibly buy for a long time. But yeah, so this is a blade, very nicely sculpted and painted, very true to what it's supposed to look like. Alright, and we also have the rotary cannons here, which will peg into the sides. Now, unlike the Mad Toys that had the LEDs, this doesn't have anything of that sort, but who cares, honestly. I'm going to just plug it in. Does it pop in or does it friction fit? Let's see. Alright, friction fit, but it snaps in very firmly. Woo! Look at that. Snap the arms back in. Let's pop them back out. Alright, and let's get the mouth blade into place, which requires me sticking my nail in there. Putting this around like that, and boom! We have Black Lion with rotary cannons and mouth blade. So that's one guy here. So who are we going to check out next? Let's do Yellow Lion. Alright, so we got Yellow Lion here. Alright, so the Yellow Lion, we have a mouth blade for him. We go ahead and install that and pop this open. And there's a little gray tab here. I'm assuming there's a little spot right there, and there is. So you got to open his mouth a little wider, get that in there, wedge it in. You'll see it clears everything very nicely because it's obviously designed for it. And close the mouth. Then we have a rotary shotgun, which we're going to peg into the side here and that little slit on his leg. And the dual shoulder blockbuster turrets, which are going to go right here on the other side. Alright, so there he is with his weapons. And if you remember, the originals weapons were all chrome, so it's nice to see them in color now. And heavily outfitted. We'll bring this little missile thing up just so he's ready for attack. And next we'll move on to one of the arm lions. So this guy also has a mouth blade, which we're going to insert here. Same thing as the other ones. It's got a, I can open the mouth, it's got a tab on the top, or a slot where you can put the tab in. I'm going to snake that in there real good. Alright, stays with the mouth open. Close that. And we're going to put a lava cannon here on one side, and then a plasma flash cannon. Got some pretty cool names. There he is, heavily outfitted, ready for battle. Kind of always want to see these guys like flying around like this. I love that. You can pose them flying around. So actually, this got to face forward. And you can see, even though they almost look like they're one color, they do have some detailing, a little darker green metallic here, and on that little antenna thing that sticks out. So it's not just all one color, those pieces, which is really cool. Now we got Green Lion here we're going to check out. So we're going to put in his blade. Let's open his mouth here. Same thing. Pop in the tab up there. Alright, then close the mouth there. And he also gets a laser cannon. Should pop in the slit there. The only thing with the slit I've noticed is depending on where the leg is, that's where that's going to be. So I don't know if that was the reason for the circle on the other ones. But anyway, put the slit back on this one, the slit weapon, which is the, what is this, shooting star it's called? I believe so. So there's Green Lion with his weapons. Last but not least, we have the Blue Lion. We have the tab here which goes underneath the mouth, and also a space for the teeth, which I thought was really nice. I think the Blue Lion gets some really cool weapons. You have the shoulder cannon, which will pop right here. And they're nice and bulky too. And the triple barrel mortar gun, what's that called? Mortar cannon, excuse me. Alright, so there's the Blue Lion outfitted with all her weapons. So I think this set had just the right amount of weapons. I don't like reviewing things that have a million weapons because I got to show all of them. If I don't show all of them, you guys complain. If I show too, whatever. So this has just the right amount, you know, without going overboard. But I think what we can do now is get them into Voltron mode. I'm sure you guys want to check that out because that's the most magnificent thing about this review. But anyway, we'll start off with well, let's leave Black Lion last since he is the head. We'll start off with the feet first. Alright, so we got the Yellow Lion here. Alright, so first thing we want to do is bring his, well, straighten this out, bring his legs up and this way. And you're pretty much going to do exactly what you would do on the original. Bring this foot up, and then you're going to squeeze here. See how that all goes in there, which is pretty nice to keep the leg nice and thin. And then rotate the legs just like as you would on the vintage. And when you go to fold these little paws, make sure they're not twisted to one side, or else it won't close all the way. You want to make sure you make clearance for the middle part of the leg, and also, you know, squeeze that in, get the tail out of the way. Alright, so we got one leg lion. Oh, almost forgot, guys. You have to do one more thing. You have to pull out this little heel here. Alright, and that makes it, and actually the foot is too high here, sort of like this. Alright, so we're going to get that to the side here. We're going to get blue lion done, and we're going to do the arm lions. You can remove the tail. You don't have to. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it. Make not a big deal out of that. And everything else is identical to the original. Pull the neck in if it's out. Bring this down like so. And then you do the same with the red lion. Now with the arm lions, you may want to have this rotated this way. If you want to leave it the way it's supposed to be, like in the cartoons where the red lion is actually facing this way, you can. I'm just going to leave it this way like that so I can, you know, put a sword in there or whatever. And you want to make sure you have the green lion done exactly the same way to be able to bring the arms up. Now the black lion will be very familiar to everybody since, again, it's pretty much follows the original. Going to bring the tail in. Alright, the wings will leave there for a second. Straighten out the legs like so. Bring these legs down, which are nice thick metal, guys. This is beautiful. All this is metal right here. And the arms, alright, we're going to form the arms here. You have to hide these legs, and it's a little weird the way the panel is. You got to open this panel. You can actually do it while it's this way. It's a little easier. And bring the legs in that way, and then you can close that panel. And we'll do the same for this side. Open up this. We'll do the same for this panel. Open that up. Just be careful with that little door. Bring that leg in. Close the panel. Rotate the shoulders around. Oops, too far. And bring them in. They're out already. And then there's these little sliding interlock tabs. There's like two little teeth that come out. I can't really get that to pop in ever, you know, securely. It's supposed to keep this from rotating, but eventually it does just slide out on its own. I have heard reports of other people having the same issue. It doesn't really, you know, snap in. I think if it does snap in, you have to put a lot of force on it, which I'm not really willing to do. And that slides right in there. And we'll save the head for last. Obviously you want to bring the wings up. And right here is one of those things where I wish there was an alternate thing, like an alternate wing set where the wings come down in red here in the cartoon, so that you can get rid of the hinge here and have this look the way it's supposed to look. Alright, and that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and start you know, forming this guy together. Start off with the blue lion. What you need to do, I mean, it'll snap right in, but you want to hold this button in so that way it doesn't put any extra, you know, friction on the leg going in. Oh, but before you do that, you do have to open up the butthole back here. You want to flip this thing open, push this down. All right, that way you've made the hole for the leg. And again, holding the button on the back, preferably, this will go right in, snap right in. And it holds very firmly. I'm actually very surprised at how firm it is. And then this little cover will cover that part. Very neatly done, I think. All right, pull this out further so we give space to the yellow line. We are going to do the same thing with the little flap. Push this in and hold the button. Bring this in so you can see how that works back there. Snap that in. Now let's go from down here. We're going to go to the upside of the figure. And we're going to attach the arms over here. Now the arms, pretty straightforward. Little tail goes in there, as you can see. I don't know if you can see my finger through the other side. I don't have light, but this does go all the way through. So we're going to pop that in. Just pops right in like so. And we're going to do the red lion. Boom! Then we're obviously going to move up because we want to do something. We want to form the head, right guys? So this is what you do. You're supposed to pull the neck up if it isn't already. Bring this around. Open the mouth to reveal the head, then sort of kind of push the head down to hide the bottom there, and open the ears. And the first thing you'll notice is how beautiful this sculpt is. I'm sure there's people out there who'll be like, oh, it could have been better. But finally we have the blue four-headed Voltron with the black visors and the yellow eyes. And they're actually painted gold, not yellow. As you can see, it looks very good from every angle. Even the neck, the back of the neck, guys, look at that. They did a great job with that, and it's obviously articulated. Can look up, sort of down, I guess. Not really. I guess that's down? No. But anyway. Alright, so yeah, let's take a overall look at this guy. Start from the top and scan all the way down. If you guys don't think this is beautiful, I don't know what you're waiting for. I don't know who's going to make a better one. But to me, this is where it's at, guys. This is insanely awesome. And I'm glad it's made by Bandai, because I love that company. They make great Soul of Chogokin toys. Try that again. And here's the back. Again, I wish that little thing was there, and I wish somehow the tail would hide. You can also pop off the tail, alright, if you don't want to have it showing there. And this is what I was getting at, guys. This is probably the only thing on here that I would want to change. A lot of Soul of Chogokin releases always have some kind of spare part if you want it to be anime accurate or hide covers, or if you want it to be perfect transformation. They kind of skip the chance to have snap-in things there if you're not going to need to articulate as much. And really, these holes are not there for the articulation of him in robot mode, but in lion mode, for him to be able to crouch. So they made a big compromise to just be able to have the lion crouch. And you can crouch him, although not as cool looking, if you didn't have those holes. But I just kind of wish they had something there. But aside from that, really, this is amazing. The side profile, I mean, Voltron always has a goofy looking side profile. It's got the big legs, but I think they did a really good job in proportions. Now, see this waist joint here? You'll see how it's separated. Supposedly, in robot mode, it's supposed to be down, right? And I just think it looks a little squishy. I don't know if there's a way for me to go a little further back without getting off the layout here. But I think it looks a little squished. Maybe I'm just used to seeing mine extended. But one thing you do want to be careful with is that when you're sliding up and down, that the two plastic pieces are not rubbing, because they're painted plastic. So you will get scuff marks, which would suck. I'm not being as careful as anybody else should be. But just giving you that heads up, since as of right that second, it will never go back down ever again, because it will go into my display case this way. Having it do that does make them really tall, and we're going to do some size comparisons with other Soul of Chogokins. Here he is with the original. This is actually the Matchbox version, not the original Golion, which I don't have with me at the moment, but it gives you an idea of how he scales. So he is taller. I did say I was going to scale him with Soul of Chogokin after I get these guys out of the way. These are not Soul of Chogokin figures, except for this guy. So we'll scan him here with the Toynami. It almost makes the Toynami look very, I don't know the word, but it makes it look, whatever word that is I'm thinking of, a little silly. I don't know. It's not that great, but it is an old design. As I pick it up here and hopefully not have legs fall off. And the next one we're going to compare it to before we move on to other figures is the Mad Toys, which is also a pretty tall figure. They're pretty much dead on, shoulder wise, but the head for some reason and the chest kind of sink down. But you can see how they compare to each other. And I gotta say, a lot of people were saying, oh, the Mad Toys is so much better. I don't know, guys, really, I don't think so at all. It's a cool version, but there's no way you're going to tell me this looks better than that. Of course, you're entitled to your opinion, but then that means your opinion is horrible. Just kidding. I did say he was tall, and again, I do have him extended about half an inch, a little less than half an inch. But when we talk about heavy, not heavy, but tall Chogokins, we always think of this guy, Ideon, right? I think that's how you pronounce it. Look at that! Their heads are pretty much even. This guy, to me, looks like a towering, whatever, towering something, a towering robot. And look at him compared to Voltron. Voltron technically is or Golion, however you want to call him, is technically taller because of the wings. But then again, this guy is tall because of his shoulders, which can act as wings, or not act as wings, but you know, you can consider them to be extra whatever on the robot. But anyway, another tallie, or another biggie, is Iron Gear, which I have to be very careful pulling this guy's off. I hope I don't drop anything here, guys. Holy moly, that's very scary. This guy, sorry to do that. I didn't want to edit that out, but here is Iron Gear. Very dusty, my lord. But here's Iron Gear. Iron Gear even looks small compared to him. This is insane. We have the soul of Chogokin God Sigma. Look at this. I thought that was an insanely huge figure, and it's not. It's just little. But notice the design likenesses, you know? Maybe not the arms, but it's got the red wings. You have the blue and the yellow legs in the same spot. So that's pretty cool. And I'm sure you guys, if you heard the story of Voltron, you know, WEP tried to bring over the cartoon with the lions in it, which they were actually talking about this guy, Daltanius. And they sent, you know, Golion by mistake, and that ended up turning into Voltron. But this is what he would have looked like if they sent the right tape. That would have been Voltron, which is kind of weird. But there's Daltanius, which again is a pretty big Soul of Chogokin. I seem to not be able to say that today. Soul of Chogokin figure. And he just looks so tiny compared to him. Look at this. Wow. And one of my Facebook people wanted to see him compared with the Voltus 5. Here he is, buddy, next to Voltron. You can see it's pretty much as small as his baby sister. And I'm sure a lot of you guys would have asked if I didn't do this, but here he is with the DX Chogokin Great Mazinger, which is taller than the Mazinger Z. And you can see it's not much bigger. Maybe by about, head-wise, an inch, wing-wise, another 2 inches, but look at that. Pretty much very good size compared to him. And here he is with the Miracle Toys Vehicle Voltron, which was like a sort of official, not really official according to WEP. I don't know what's going on with that, but anyway, here he is. It's just a big nightmare. Not the figure, just the whole experience of trying to get that. But here he is, how he compares to that. Another thing, guys, inside the little manual, I do want to show you, actually, while we're doing this. Sorry to go off topic, but on the back here, it has a product questionnaire. Please answer that. You go there and go to the Japanese version of the site and then click English, so you can do surveys on Solo Chogokin, because otherwise it'll just only let you do surveys on SH Figure Arts and stuff. And there's a question that says, what other things would you like to see? I voted for this guy. I would love Bandai to do Vehicle Voltron at some point, based on the success of this. Which, by the way, the original, according to what I read around there, is the best-selling diecast toy ever for Bandai, and probably ever for anybody. So it would, you know, because it was Voltron, so it would make sense to maybe do this guy, even though he wasn't that popular, but it, you know, has a cult status, I think. So he's deserving. But anyway, moving right along. I really feel like I have to do this because it's like the thing everybody scales to, which is the MP10. So MP10 is very teeny compared to him. Alright, so there he is. Now take a look at his articulation. We kind of saw his head there for a second, but it does rotate. It does sort of look up. It kind of not really looks down. We have whoops, see, that part is not supposed to move if these little things are pushed in, but they tend to pop out once in a while. But there, whoop, another one there. Forgot to push that one in. It's not that even I forgot. They just fall right out. There's really nothing that secure there. All right, but once they're in there, you can rotate the arms and have them fall out again. So that's a little bit of an annoyance if you're actually playing with it. But I can't really get it to snap in there. Somebody says you have to force it in. I'm not going to do that. If we take a look at the elbows here, they do go up to here, which is not, you know, an incredible amount. You do get this extra joint here, but that's not for, you know, any kind of a, you know, extra articulation as far as folding. So I think it could have been done a little bit better there. It also does fold back like the original. We have the waist joint. It does have a waist joint. It does rotate. It does get limited by the belt here, just as it would in a lot of the other newer Voltron figures. And you do have like kind of an ab crunch, which is a first. And you have some really beefy joints here in the hips. They're nice solid metal teeth there, which is always nice. You get the ratchets, which can't really hold up the weight of the leg. It does sort of, but you can hear them ratcheting back down. You do get a thigh swivel here. You also get the legs to extend this way like that. There's a little clearance there, not much, but it does go out that far. As far as knees, the knees can go that far. You can have them do the seating position if you wanted to, you know, but I don't know why you would make Voltron sit. You do have the ankle articulation, I guess you can call that. And also, speaking of ankle articulation, move on to the wrists here, all right, which does this, back and forth just a tad. And that, pretty much what you would expect articulation to be on a figure like this for Voltron. He's not the most articulated thing on the planet, but I think they did a good job for what it is. For its half its size, did a nice job. Now I got him in this position here because I do want to show you something. If you open the mouth and you stick your nail right in that little rectangular slot, you can remove the standard face. Alright, because he does come with an optional face here, the roaring face, which he's known to do when he's about to slash something, or he's running, or when he's getting attacked. Pretty much opens his mouth constantly. So we definitely want to have that look there for him. And there it is. Not the coolest looking thing. I don't know. Looks a little strange, but I'm glad they included that. I was very happy that they included that roaring face, because I actually was telling myself if they ever make a solo Chogokin, they better include that roaring face. And they did. Also included with the set, we're going to leave that mouth there as it is. Also included is the blazing sword. It's absolutely beautiful. The best one made so far, I think. They finally got the colors down. And a smudge magnet here. So don't touch that with your fingerprints, because wiping it off probably will cause little fine lines. Little dots there. I don't know what that is. It's like an overspray from some kind of oil they use, because if I touch the little dots, they disappear and smear a little bit, so just be careful. The way this attaches is with that tab, the sort of the way that the knives or whatever, the blades on the lions attach. So we're going to go ahead and try that on the red lion here. See, it tabs very nicely. Close the mouth there a second. Alright, so it holds it very well, very sturdy. Very happy with that, and it's not a tiny sword, it's actually pretty tall. And we can just scan up here. Yeah, so pretty cool. And he's also got, obviously, the shield. So you got a nice chrome shield again, a magnet for smudges. It is detailed nicely with the gold, red, and blue, and on the back too. So in order to use that, you do need a handle, which is included in the tray, which is this little piece here. So we'll go ahead and tab that in there, just like so, and it gets attached with the same type of tab design as everything else. Alright, and there he is with the shield. Nothing out of the ordinary, probably used to seeing him this way. Just so you know, the handle, the tab on the handle can be rotated, so because I was having a little bit of difficulty getting it to line up, and I'm like, oh, it actually rotates to where you need it, so that way you can put it on as need be. Took a little bit of effort, but I could get him to hold this sword with both hands above his head. Just got to be careful not to scuff anything. There's a lot of chrome stuff going on there. Didn't require any kind of weird going on here on the shoulders, even though you can pop them out, whatever. I guess you can get a better pose that way, but I decided to leave it as is so I don't get any gaps here, and it worked out pretty fine. Now he's also got these solar combat spears, which you can use the two and tab them right in to the bottom of the mouth here on each lion. Alright, so he's got that. Pretty interesting choice for weapons, since there's so many things you can do with this. As a matter of fact, that brings up something. Sorry to always go off topic, but you know, this is not always planned. But in this booklet, there's a couple of things they show in here I wanted to let you guys know. It probably makes the review run really long, but there's some drawings here, I guess, of some ideas they had. You know, Voltron, you know, shooting the eye rays, and the little cross here from his chest, and also the little guns from the mouth of the lions. I don't know if you can see that too well, but it's also got some spinner discs that come out from underneath the feet. I don't know if this was supposed to be like for the anime or the actual toy they were designing, which I just thought was pretty interesting. And of course, the beautiful Voltron here. This is where he gets his gigantic feet. You know, when they try to do, Mattel tried to do the Voltron with the big feet. Try to get it to look like that. And there's the offset kind of red lion. One goes to the side, one is like kind of straightforward. But there's something I want to show you guys in here. Aside from these beautiful illustrations of the lions, I always love those illustrations. Whoever did that, thumbs up to you. But here they show a little bit of the vintage toy, right? The black lion, the lion's here. But check this out. This was one of the original planned versions of Voltron. Look at that. It's insane. Because I always used to wonder, like, why didn't they put manes on them if they're lions? But at the same time, thank God they didn't. This is the idea they had for Voltron. Looks pretty horrible. I'd probably still buy it if it was a die-cast or whatever, but I don't think it would have the same effect as the way these new designs that they came up with turned out. So I just thought that was a little bit interesting. Anyway, back to the solar spears. You can actually join them together in this form like that, and then you know, put them in the lion arms like so. Not really going to bother to do that. Not really into this weapon, believe it or not. Just not my thing, but it's there, solar spear. And of course, guys, here's a stand. You guys know I'm not a big fan, but I will show you the stand regardless. Notice I put Voltron since that's what I grew up with, guys. I know my voice just went high there. Even though I'm also a fan of Golion, this is what started it all for me, so he will have the name Voltron for now at least. And of course, all the lion weapons here lined all the way up from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got all the other accessories here. You got the little blades down at the bottom, blazing sword up top. A lot of the other lion weapons here. And if we look back here, you can see the shield and the extra face. And this slides out, so you can see all the other weapons. And I like the fact that you can put everything here. I mean, a lot of the solo Chogokins do that, but there's way too much crap sometimes. And I don't know, just something about this, the design of it, doesn't bother me as much, but still stand. Actually, I lied. This really bothers me a lot here. These swords constantly fall. Constantly. And you have to get them just right. The tab faces forward just to lay on there. There you are. But figured I'd show you guys that. It's done in a nice little concrete kind of design with the little bricks there. So, very nice. Still not my thing. And that's pretty much going to bring us to the end, guys. This has been like, you know, a long time in the making for me, or waiting for this to happen. And I think this has a lot to do with me just pretty much calming down with the whole collecting, because you know, I was watching Batman recently, and I think something to the effect where Joker said where he wouldn't kill Batman because what else would he do? And I think this is the version of me killing Batman, if that makes any sense. Which pretty much means, you know, what kept me going is really waiting for this guy. Now that this guy's here, it's like, where do I go from here? You know what I mean? But I will be doing reviews still. I was contemplating having this be my last one, but and I had a lot of ideas for this last review. Unfortunately, the resources for me at the moment are not where they should be. As far as lighting and camera and all that stuff, for me to have been able to do this the way I wanted to, with special effects and a bunch of crap like that. So I hope you guys still enjoyed anyway. You know, me just going back to basics here and just keeping everything real. But yeah, what do I think of this guy? Is he the best Voltron out there? Yes, I would have to say yes. You know, build-wise, looks-wise, material-wise, everything's done perfect. I know the bodies of the lions are not metal. And having this guy now, there's no way I would wish it any other way. I mean, I love the sharpness of the plastic. The plastics are molded in a metallic color. I'm just afraid of, you know, the blue metallic plastic, you know, going the way of the old pulpy plastic, which was very brittle. But I'm sure with technology today, hopefully that won't happen. So it wasn't necessary to paint any of this. So you don't have to worry about paint chipping on the actual colors of the lions. The only thing you got to worry about really chipping on is you know, the chrome or scratching, or the silver painted bits. Again, the little waist here for moving up and down. Just be careful not to get any scratches there. And I just think it's one of the most beautiful, you know, versions. It is the most beautiful version of Voltron. So if you're a fan, you can definitely not go wrong with this at all. The price It's a bit high. It's 300 bucks. That used to buy you a vintage Voltron. So I don't know. It's up to you guys. I think it's a great set. It's beautiful. If you're gonna go out and get one of these, please use the link in the description below, not only to get an awesome robot, but also to help out the channel and the people that help me keep this channel going. So if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Until next time, guys, bye-bye.